Welcome back. We're talking about home inspections. This is part 2 of a 2-part series that I'm doing on home inspections. The first one we focused on the buyer and the buyer process and things to avoid, the 3 most costly mistakes a buyer can make when it comes to home inspection. Now we're shifting our attention over to the seller. If you're thinking about selling your home, pay very close attention to this video, whether you're doing it in the next year, next 3 months, or 2 years down the road, because I'm going to give you some insights on things that will save you thousands of dollars. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to save thousands of dollars. And before I get started with the 3 most costly mistakes you can make, I'm going to share a quote with you and then a story. The quote is, there is no such thing as a home inspection issue. That's right. There's no such thing as a home inspection issue. There are, however, deferred maintenance issues that manifest during the inspection process. I will repeat the quote because it bears repeating. There's no such thing as a home inspection issue. There are, however, deferred maintenance issues that manifest during the inspection process. So what do I mean by that? This quote should tip you off at least to a couple of the 3 most costly mistakes you can make as a home seller. And the meaning of this quote can be explained through the following proverb, which we've all heard it before: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, which means it's easier to prevent something, to stop it from happening, than it is to repair the damage after it's happened. It's easier to commit to exercise every single day than it is to try to fix the problem after you've had a heart attack, okay? So here's what we're going to talk about today, the 3 most costly mistakes. Pay close attention.
Hi, Kevin Yoder, team leader of Yoder Real Estate, bringing to you valuable information about all things real estate and living and working in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area that you cannot find anywhere else. And if you like this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to it so that you can see more content just like this.
All right, I promise you a story to go along with that particular quote. Here's what just happened 2 weeks ago. I listed a home and the inspections happened within 24 hours. So the inspector came in and they noted during the inspection that there's water coming up from in the basement. So it's an unfinished basement, water's coming through the floor. Now, the seller had noted that the wall in the basement occasionally had water coming down it, and they put that in the seller's disclosure. So that's all above board. The buyer knew about the water coming down the wall. So the challenge is that water doesn't care how it gets in. It's going to get in one way or another. And this time, the water is actually coming through the floor during the inspection. So the inspector saw it, took pictures of it, shared it with the buyer, and now the buyer's concerned and they're looking for some sort of remedy. We talked about those in the buyer version of this video. Those remedies are credits that they can ask the seller to pay towards the closing costs. That's exactly what happened in this situation. But let me tell you what happened here. So the water's coming up from the floor. The seller said, that's never happened before. I don't believe that this is actually a problem because we've only had water come in the wall. And my conversation was, well, water doesn't care. Water doesn't have feelings. Water will find its way through no matter what. It's not going to say, we're only going to be going through the wall here, folks. We're talking to its fellow water friends. We're not going to go through the floor. You understand? That's not who we are as water. All right, I'm trying to be a little comical here to get this point through. You see how silly this is? So ultimately, they concluded, and they finally found out, talking to the inspector, that it actually was coming up through the floor. And my point with that quote is that there's no such thing. But by the way, they were not happy, and they were talking about that this is something that's happening to them, and we had to have a come to Jesus moment, that this is it. So there's no such thing as a inspection issue, but there is definitely such thing as deferred maintenance items that manifest during the inspection process. Why is that? And I'll get that into one of these costly mistakes, because if you take care of your stuff when you own the home, then these things won't happen anyway. And it won't seem like such a big deal as you're maintaining throughout the years, which very many people don't, by the way. That's why this turns into a big deal. If these things were maintained, for example, if that wall would have been fixed and remedied way before, professionally done, cleaned up and patched and made all good again, then this wouldn't have shown up during the inspection process. So this wouldn't have been an issue and it wouldn't have cost them any money. So that was a deferred maintenance item that manifested during the inspection process. Perfect example right from the field 2 weeks ago. So costly mistake number 1, not maintaining your home. Here we go. So I met 1,257 sellers. I made that number up just to get your attention, who don't take care of their home during the years that they've owned it. And then what happens is they decide to sell it and they don't want to take care of those items, those deferred maintenance items before listing. Really, think about this. If an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, then how much do you think that an ounce of home maintenance is worth? You guessed it, thousands of dollars. And in this situation I just gave you, this story that I just told you, that's exactly what it translated to. Thousands of dollars that could have been remedied on the front end for a lot less. So you want to make more money when you sell your home, then take care of your home while you're owning it. Take care of the roof, take care of the furnace. These are maintenance things. Paint the exterior, paint the interior, take care of the carpeting. If the carpeting is worn and ratted, you want to make sure that it's replaced, because no one wants to buy a home and have to deal with that. Flooring, landscaping, all those things are super important. So make it a checklist item for you. Just analyze your home on an annual basis. And if you'd like help with that, reach out. I'm happy to give you a list. Number 2 is have your agent provide you with a list of things that need to be taken care of. These high return, low cost items. Hand that list to a handyman if they're beyond your control, and then let the handyman cut through them. They might cost you, a few $100s, but it only stings because you wait until the last minute. Of course, it's no different than waiting until you have a heart attack and then deciding to quit smoking or change your diet. Just take care of the list and get it ready before you list your home. It'll actually end up saving you thousands of dollars in the process. What's costly mistake number 2? Not doing a pre-inspection. Now, we talked about pre-inspections for buyers. What's a pre-inspection for a seller? It's a inspection that you get on your home, and it also allows the inspector to go through and give you a list of things that they found before you list your home. It seems a little bit odd that you would get your home inspected before listing. And for most people, most home sellers, they say, well, wait a minute, why would I spend money on that? Here's why. It's because you're now aware. Awareness is key. And you're also in control, because now you get to control the contractors that make the repairs. You also get a sense of the costs associated with these without being caught off guard before you actually enter into a contract. And then you can actually spend a little bit of time in getting bids and quotes and landing on the right combination of quality work without having to spend too much money. Take that same repair, put it in the middle of an inspection process, as I talked about in video 1 with the buyers, and they are going to have a say in the matter. And I do believe that the work should be done in a workmanlike manner and done the right way. You shouldn't be hobbling things together just to make sure you get it on the market. But there also is a process of getting quotes and making sure that this is something that's not gouging you. You don't have the benefit of that when under the tight pressure of time restraints in a real estate transaction. There's far less pressure this way. Cost of pre-inspection would be about, I would say, $500, slightly less than a standard inspection. You might be able to get one done for $400, and those prices are fluctuating, of course, but we have access to inspectors that do pre-inspections all the time. What's the downside? So getting a pre-inspection, having a list of repairs in advance, and being able to handle those yourself, hiring out contractors, getting bids, and having ease of mind as you head into the listing process. They're all the benefits. What are the downsides? Zero downsides to getting a pre-inspection, so keep that in mind. The only downside would be your hang up about it. Your unwillingness to, I've had a seller say they don't want to know. So that's a head in the sand. That's a head in the sand strategy. I don't recommend that, because guess what? Eventually, you got to take your head out of the sand and look up and say, oh my gosh, this is the crap I got to deal with. Better to do it in advance. Remember the ounce of prevention quote. Costly seller mistake number 3. Overreact. Don't overreact to buyer repair requests. It's just a question, and it goes like this. Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller, I love your home, and I want to live here for the next 10 or 20 years. I want to raise a family here, in fact, just like you did. I see the pictures you have on the wall, and I really love that. I love your home. I'm really glad that we agreed on a price and terms. And oh, by the way, my inspector found a few things about the home that are kind of making me scared. They weren't a part of my decision-making process, and I'm a little bit freaked out, to be honest with you. So will you please help me feel better about this big purchase and maybe make some concessions to make it better for me so I can feel comfortable moving forward? So a part of this is don't take it personally. They're literally asking a question, and then the question prompts 3 possible answers for you. Number 1 is no, go fly a kite. I don't recommend that. Number 2 is, okay, I'm going to be open and honest about this, and I'm going to just give some consideration. So number 2 is, yeah, sure, I'll do that in order to move this forward. Number 3 would be somewhere in the middle. Meet in the middle. There's a possibility. So don't step away. And the key here is to actually step away, if you can, from the homeownership role, and then ask yourself what you'd want to have happen if this was your son or daughter's home. Would you want those repairs to be done? Do you think it'd be the right thing? And sometimes it's okay to do mental gymnastics in order to come to the right answer, because selling a home can be terribly emotional, and your emotions are at their highest, especially if you're navigating moving from home A to home B, and all that's wrapped into the process. And you get an inspection report put in front of you with a request, a financial request that you weren't planning on, I get it. And so the thing about this though is that don't overreact, don't take it personally. I've seen sellers actually kill sales, rip up the purchase agreement. It was in their right to do so, but they freaked out, ripped it up over something that would be like $300. So you don't want to kill the sale for $300. You know, it might cost you $30,000 as a result of that. When, let's say, for example, you had an offer on another home and you tore up your contract because it was a contingent sale, you couldn't buy that next one. Interest rates went up. Then you go find another home when you finally do resell your home, and the prices have gone up too. Interest rate hit, price of home increase, and now the net effect of that could be potentially $30,000, $40,000 over a 30-year mortgage, over a $300 repair. And that's just because you can't see the forest for the trees. I don't recommend that. This is bringing the realness back to real estate. I hope this video helped you today. If you're the planning stages, whether it's 1 month or 6 months or a year out, go back to the beginning of that costly mistake number 1, which would be a deferred maintenance item. I believe that we should keep our homes up. It's just better all around. Your home, your asset is going to be worth more money when it comes to selling. It's going to be a lot easier for you. You're going to be less stressed out. And if you haven't done those things and you're not feeling quite sure about it, then finally get a free inspection done. Get your home inspected in advance, and then lean on your agent for handymen and contractors and helping you through the process. That's something we do here at Yoder Real Estate each and every day. And then finally, number 3, don't take things personally. It's just a question, and you have 3 possible options with those questions. This is bringing the realness back to real estate. If you liked what you learned here today, throw a comment or a question down below. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this particular topic about home inspections. This is straight from the field. And finally, if you know of somebody that really would benefit from this, if you have a friend or a family member that is looking to sell this year, forward this on, because this might save them thousands of dollars. I look forward to connecting with you real soon. If you want to hook up with Yoder Real Estate, reach down below to our website link, yoderrealestate.com, and you can connect with us on all the other socials as well. Make it a great day.